Hey everyone.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. My name is Kyle Smith. Sorry about that. New equipment here, but we are just about on time. What's up, guys? How we doing?
We were really close to botching that intro. You had a good save. I fumbled the snap, and you were like a good punter. You were able to grab a hold of it and then take care of that for me.
And as soon as you guys hit that button to go, my phone rang from the doctor's office to confirm my appointment coming up. You guys get those robocalls? They're like, you have an appointment coming up. Press 1 to confirm.
Dude, the VA does that, and they'll send you 7 text messages the week prior leading up to, and then call you. It's like, yes, guys, I will be there. That's hilarious. Yeah, sorry about that.
I agree, Jake. It is a great win. We are all excited to talk about it. Holy shit, we won. I am pumped. I don't care if it's week 1. I don't care if it's the Giants and Daniel Jones is trash. A victory is a victory, and we should be excited about it. I am excited about it.
Anytime you have to go to New Jersey, it's not a lot of fun. I've been there once in my life. Don't want to go back.
It smells like cabbage there. I don't like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's my comment right there, Charlotte. Who cares? We won. I agree.
But I expect this game to be a lot more competitive going in, and it definitely was not.
Here's my big Daniel Jones for years. I have.
Yeah, you were right in your hate. Here is my big picture takeaway from this game. Good teams are supposed to beat bad teams by a large margin. We have gotten really used to that. Here's our first Kirk Cousins reference of the night, folks. We got to talk about Kirk a little bit. We're used to that Kirk Cousins gravitational pull towards 500, where every game you're just last minute, you win by a last minute field goal, a last minute touchdown, because that's just what we got from him as our quarterback. Wasn't it nice to beat the shit out of a team that you're supposed to beat the shit out of?
I don't know how much you guys got to watch of that Atlanta Falcons game, but Kirk doesn't look like he's Kirk yet.
I flipped over with 30 seconds left and watched Kirk do exactly what Kirk always does. I told you guys this in the chat. I got to say it on the podcast. I was watching the game with my dad. I looked at him and I said, Kirk will, instead of throwing a Hail Mary, he will check down, and that will be it. That will be the end of the game. And sure as shit, what does Kirk do? Instead of throwing the deep pass, he throws about a 7 to an 8 yard check down. The receiver gets tackled inbounds. They have to hurry up and spike the ball. They wasted a shitload of time off the clock. Kirk takes a sack. The game is over. That's Kirk Cousins. He does not have that clutch win the game gene in him. He doesn't have it.
Sam Darnold had one of the best starts to a football game you could ask for.
Starting he really 12 was not on my bingo card for him, especially when the game started with a fumble. That immediate turnover that the Vikings had with that passes to CJ Ham, I just laughed and I was like, well, we're back to our regular scheduled programming, picking up right where we left off last season. And that was it. That's the only negative thing I said yesterday, which was really surprising. You guys heard me last week. I was doom and gloom. I thought that D-line was going to tear them apart, but yeah, shout out to Kevin O'Connell. And to your point, Kyle, talking about Cousins, when you play at home to open your season against Justin Fields and the other team only kicks field goals and beats you, that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Yeah.
But It is week 1. I did not have the Patriots going into Cincinnati and beating the Bengals either. So what a wild week 1 it's been. It's been
Cincinnati is kind of known for having those stinkers that open the season. So I'm not super shocked, but I'm shocked enough.
He couldn't plant. That's a good one. I didn't watch. I saw an interception on Twitter. And
no, he was not getting a strong push off that back leg at all.
I'm not going to watch any of the games with Cousins in it. He's moved on, and I don't care. I'm going to be that bitter fan. I do appreciate his time here, but when you have a video saying I want to be with Washington for my whole career, Minnesota, and then Atlanta, you're just a money merchant at this point.
Well, and watch when he comes back to U.S. Bank.
What's that?
I'm sure you'll watch when he comes back to U.S. Bank.
Yeah. Do we play them this year?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Why do I forget this? Well, I'll have to watch that game. I'm thinking about the Dallas game and how bad they're going to destroy them. Mike Zimmer's going to laugh all the way home on the plane ride, which is going to be hilarious. But, yeah, talking about our game, I mean, let's start it off from the beginning. First of all, the Giants uniforms are horrid. They're terrible. And I think it's hilarious that they got dog walked by the Vikings and they brought out some of the best Hall of Famers you could ever ask for. And then you have Eli Manning, who beat Tom Brady twice, and the Patriots. And then you got Phil Simms, who won a Super Bowl. A couple other guys, I forgot the names, but I'm like, you brought all those people out there. All these people paid a ticket to watch the Giants kick 2 field goals and have Daniel Jones look like smashed ass for a whole 3 hours. It was if you're a Vikings fan, yesterday – somebody said in the comments here, a completely dominant win, Sergio. We haven't seen that in a long time. I can't remember the last one.
So I'm going to give a stat, and I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it, but I believe it's been 5 years since the Vikings have won a game by 3 touchdowns or more. So it's been a spell since we've blown out another team. And I agree with Lee here up in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for leaving the comment, Lee. It was really enjoyable to watch that game because you could sit back at the end of it and go, we are winning a football game. You're not sitting here like this going, oh my God, are we going to get this last minute field goal? Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Whoo! We did. We won the game, folks. It's nice to have a win where you're up and you put them away and backups can come in at the end. Isn't that fun?
I mean, sure, our quarterback didn't get a gigantic extension like Dak did before the game, but what can you do?
Yeah, shout out to Dak Prescott getting paid. I think that was a smart move from the Cowboys. Obviously, for Dak, that's a lot of money. Jerry Jones loves the drama, doesn't he? They had to have this figured out weeks ago. Pretty funny.
Does that mean they're not going to be able to pay their defensive guy?
It's a possibility, or maybe they'll just wait till next season and figure it out. What it means, Adam, is they're going to be super top heavy, and one of those guys is going to go down, and then they're going to drop off drastically. And it would be sad because Micah Parsons, in my opinion, top 5 defender in the league, amazing. And they showed us a weird stat yesterday where he doesn't rush a lot, but he's very efficient when he does, which you would think that's all he does is rush the passer, but he's very good at what he does. But if he goes down, that's the heart of your defense that's gone. Yeah. God forbid CeeDee Lamb goes down. That offense on the Cowboys changes drastically. And then obviously anytime a quarterback goes down, that's you can wrap it up there. It's not going to be good.
Do you guys realize how cursed Mike Zimmer is? What did he not want to do with the Vikings? Pay a quarterback a lot of money and lose on defense. He goes to Dallas to be their defensive coordinator, and what's going to happen? They just paid their quarterback a whole bunch of money, and he just probably lost Micah Parsons, his best defensive player, because now they cannot afford him.
But speaking of going down, we saw something happen in Brazil there that was not good for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love is going to be out, 4 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks.
Now, maybe. Minnesota does travel to Green Bay in week 4, which will make this very interesting.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're looking at the Vikings schedule and you're going.
Minnesota could be taking off Malik Willis in that game. It's possible.
Yeah, and I heard there's rumblings of Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
I'm either or. Ryan Tannehill's been washed for at least 3 years now. Malik Willis. Wow, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, he's been washed for about 3 years.
Oh, God.
Malik Willis has never shown anything, so it's an opportunity for him.
What do you mean? He was supposed to be a first-round pick, and we whiffed on him.
But did you see Justin Fields show a big old win last week or this week?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it that. Same thing for Caleb Williams. Like the Bears won a game.
Caleb Williams and his fucking painted fingernails.
Oh man, they are flaming him bad on the internet for that. There's a great meme breaking down all of his stats. It's like less time painting nails, more time studying film.
See, I don't mind the nail thing. That don't bother me one bit.
Oh, I don't care either way. I just know that if you're in a room full of pro male athletes, somebody's going to dog you for that. Unless you just roll out and look like Aaron Rodgers week 1, which I think Dan Orlovsky said it today. Like, what do you think about Caleb Williams? He had a shaky performance even though they won. He's like, you're not playing against Arizona State anymore, bud.
Like, I'm more worried about Terry Bradshaw and what he said during the pregame.
Oh, what did he say?
He said, I haven't been this excited for the Bears since my aunt taught me how to play spin the bottle.
Oh, God. What the hell? No, man. Somebody's got to get Uncle Terry and talk to him.
Terry, no.
Oh, gross.
Am I allowed to say I've never been that scared of Jordan Love anyway? Like,
well, his ability is just kind of like rather new. I think it's going to take a while before he gets that point where you like fear him. I am at the point now where I don't really fear him, but I do respect him because I've seen what he did at the end of the year last year, and it was very good.
Yeah, I respect him.
Do that consistently, then I'm in.
I feel like a lot of fans were just treating him the same way we treated Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, of like, oh my God, it's the Green Bay Packers. They're coming to town. And yes, they're a good football team. And yes, he showed promise. But no, I'm not ready to roll over for Jordan Love. I'm just not.
I know you guys remember this name. That's the only reason why I'm going to bring it up. Who was that Packers quarterback that threw like 4 touchdowns in a game and then got paid to go to Seattle? There we go.
Matt Flynn did 6 in a game. Seattle paid him, and Russell Wilson immediately beat him out as a rookie when he beat that. I can't forget it. I can't. Yeah. It's one of those stupid stats that stays in my brain forever. And
it was a name that I couldn't get that name in my head, but I knew who it was, and I wanted to talk about him with a friend, and I just couldn't get the name in my head.
Well, if you watch Jordan Love, you see the mixture of Favre and Rodgers. He's a little more Favre than Rodgers at the moment, but he could certainly mold into that if he can turn over, ironically enough, stop the turnovers and fix that. But yeah, I'm with you too, Sergio. Sergio says at least he's coming back and not out for the season. Don't want to hear excuses from when we beat the Packers twice. I don't know if we'll beat them. I think they have like all around just a good team, and I really do believe Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I mean, they're throwing to like all number 2s. There's not a legitimate number 1 on the team, and they're like, we don't care. Fuck it, we ball. We're just going to go play. And I kind of respect that. But I'm with you guys. Like, I have to see a full season of this before I say, well, the Packers did it again.
So with the Vikings early turnover in this game, were you guys starting to see ghosts from last season or not quite yet?
Oh, I was like, it was one of those points where you're not even mad because it's the first game. You kind of expect the starters to be a little shaky. And I was more disappointed than angry for CJ Ham of all players. How dare you? How dare you? I love you. I've never said one thing bad about you. I looked yesterday and I was like, don't. We're not doing this again.
Yeah, I don't want another season of that. More turnovers than rushing touchdowns. No thanks.
No, but Aaron Jones, you talk about an upgrade at the running back position for the Vikings. Holy cow, was that a breath of fresh air to watch on the field.
Did you see his patience when running? He actually waited for holes to develop. That was wild.
Not even that. When the holes broke down, he finds one lane. If it's blocked, he's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. And he
I saw him like lean down and go through the smallest little hole, and I was like, how did he get through there?
Yeah.
Ironically
but also,
enough,
did you see the gigantic purple sombrero during the pregame he was walking with?
Yeah, that's legit. That's legit.
Charlotte brought it up. He is a UTEP minor. He is from he played for the University of Texas, El Paso. He was a big name when I was there, stationed there. Yeah, he did. He looked like prime Dalvin, or some of the prime Dalvin plays. He can get around and beat guys on the edge, which was really fun. I just like that our starting running back last year had no rushing touchdowns, and week 1, Eric Jones gets a rushing touchdown.
Man, I feel bad for Alexander Madison. He's a good guy, and
He's a great dude.
I really don't know what happened with him. Like, he had a lot of promise, and it has not worked out.
I'll tell you what happened.
What?
Dalvin Cook came in the game and did great for a half, and then when the defense was tired in the second half, he took advantage of that.
I tell you what, you don't realize how bad the Vikings' run game has been, and I'm not just shitting on Madison. I mean, Dalvin Cook has been cooked, pun intended, for a little bit towards the end of his career in Minnesota as well, too. So it's been a couple years since we've had a consistency at the running back position. Aaron Jones out there, my God, was that entertaining to watch.
And I know Aaron Jones is a bit of a, like, okay, he's getting older. He's had injury problems in the past. You know, you do kind of worry about him staying healthy and being able to be a consistent contributor that way. But man, when he is healthy, he can make things happen. And he actually got involved in the receiving game a little bit. I think he caught, 2-3 passes?
I had
that for Darnold, too.
So on the ground, he had 14 carries for 94 yards, 1 touchdown. Kevin O'Connell in the post-game presser said they tried to get him over 100, couldn't quite get it for him, but they tried. In the passing game, 2 receptions for 15 yards, 7.5 yards per target. I like that.
Did you guys
what they say?
Didn't notice yesterday with him and Chandler too? They would switch off. They would do a series with Jones, do a series with Chandler. If that's the way it goes for the season, and then they switch
that's how
up,
it should go.
It's exactly what I'm thinking, Kyle. They should workload and manage a little bit because of his age, and then you have prime Aaron Jones for the whole season. I mean, please.
We've talked about this ad nauseum for a while of wanting to see an actual committee at the running back position. They seem to be doing it. Brian Flores. There's so many good positives to talk about this game.
Yeah, we saw a similar approach from Flores there on the defensive line, or the defense with the edge rushers.
That's right where I was
coming in all the time, rotating.
That's right where
great.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. That's right where I was going on, just rotating out that defensive line, on keeping fresh guys in, and they are deep on that defensive line on talent out there. So you can rotate guys in, and you're not rotating in players who are like, you're taking a break off. Like, you're actually putting in guys who can contribute out there. Patrick Jones,
Turner got a sack. Van Ginkel had a sack and a pick, and
Van
Jonathan
Ginkel,
Goddard got in there.
I'm so excited for Van Ginkel, and that disguise that they put out there on him, on putting him in the right position to be able to go out and jump in front of that play. That's Brian Flores is a fucking madman.
And Van Ginkel is finally healthy. He spent most of the preseason and training camp recovering from an injury. Yep. He is still getting back to where he was at, but he is coming off a career year.
You know what's great too about this, which I noticed yesterday. Just I've told you guys plenty of times on the show, when I look for certain things I watched yesterday, my primary focus. What's that?
Sorry, I was just reading in the chat.
Oh, Rock
I didn't
Valley,
know he's from Iowa.
That's sick.
Yeah. That's cool.
He looks like an Iowa tight end.
Nice. Yeah.
they all look the same. It's so
He's got blonde hair coming up the back of the helmet.
Yeah. But what I watched yesterday, I primarily watched Christian Darrisaw, which he had a fucking fantastic day. And then I watched the defensive line, and I watched the feints that they did, which was crazy to finally, like, I'm only going to pay attention to one thing and see what happens. And I can see why any quarterback, especially Daniel Jones, would get confused when at one play, like maybe it's second down, there's 8 people stacked on the line. You're like, who's rushing and who isn't? And then 4 drop back. And then 7 people come up the next time, and you're like, oh shit, 6 of them went. This is crazy. So seeing that pressure yesterday and seeing the different looks, definitely a little confusing, but I like what Flores is doing.
Before I forget, on that play, the Van Ginkel, the pick 6 that he had, they disguised it. Daniel Jones thought he was going to drop back in coverage.
Yeah.
And it was actually Ivan Pace that dropped back in coverage, and that allowed Van Ginkel to rush and come forward and be in a spot that, like, Daniel Jones did not think he was going to be in. That was a phenomenal catch.
Now, when I was watching that game, I didn't even really see that pass and pick until he was in the end zone celebrating. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, same. It was so fast.
he reached up and grabbed that. That was a difficult pass for him.
Another guy I kind of want to give a shout out to is I was hesitant. I still think he might be a little bit of a liability sometimes, but on the defensive line, Jerry Tillery looked pretty good.
Yeah. Speaks to the depth to go and reach out. This is such a Questy pick if this works out, where you go get a guy who's been discarded but highly recruited and drafted, and then see if he's got anything left. That's kind of the MO so far for this team, at least.
I mean, he didn't look like a superstar or anything, but you don't have to. You just have to go out there and do your job, and that's exactly what he did. Before we go too far, and we've already talked about several of these guys, let's do the game ball and donkey.
Who wants to go first?
Well, we've already discussed all my game balls, so you guys pick, and I'll take whatever's left over.
I'm giving it to Sam Darnold, man. Way to make me eat my fucking words from a week ago. Now, I will say, Adam sent a meme in our chat on Facebook for the three of us. I said, really, after 1 week, he's purple Jesus. Relax on that, because the Giants aren't very good in some areas, and you will get an immediate slap in the face Sunday against a very good team, the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. So I will hold my reservations. But for this game, to start out 12 of 12, to have one of the only pick that you had was batted pass that went crazy. Sam Darnold is following directions well. He's confident. And I'll tell you that the most impressive play yesterday, and you guys might agree with me, 4th and 2, you go for it and you see Justin Jefferson on a slant and he's one-on-one. You have to get that to get the points. And that was an easy touchdown. I love that.
I think one of the most impressive things for me was when Darnold actually made the decision to go and pick up some yards with his legs.
Nice.
I mean, I know he has some mobility and he's a young guy and everything, but in my mind, I think of him as being that pocket passer that doesn't move around a ton. So for him to have that in his arsenal and feel comfortable doing it was huge.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about next week with San Francisco coming to Minnesota. You know, Sam Darnold has faced these guys in San Francisco, their defensive schemes multiple times. Is very familiar with some of these players. Is that going to be an advantage for him?
I'll tell you, too, I'll add on to that, Adam. Not only do I think that's an advantage all week for Kevin O'Connell and for Brian Flores, but you got to think, too, they had the offseason drama with Ayuk, and then Trent Williams hadn't been to camp or anything. I get it, he's older, and those guys kind of want to skip camp, but you don't think some of those reps, like they're going to play tonight, and I'm going to watch this game until I fall asleep because I'm dead ass tired right now. But I think that's going to throw him for a loop a little bit. And Brandon Ayuk just basically holding out the whole summer just so he didn't have to go to camp. Dude, you're in your 20s, in the early part of your prime. You got a lot more camps you got to go to, my dude. Like, you're not Brett Favre and 40 years old and been doing this for 20 years. Like, I thought that was wild that you're just like, hey, cool. And I'm not saying that everyone has to do what Justin Jefferson did, but you see what happens when your players don't play. Like, look at the Bengals yesterday. They look like ass. Okay, Brandon Ayuk's going to play, but you don't have your chemistry there. You need those reps. You can't just walk in from 8 months of not playing with somebody and just pick right up where you left off. Like, that's not going to happen.
Did you see that genius play call by Kevin O'Connell where he used Justin Jefferson near the line of scrimmage to draw the defender near and opens things up completely for Jalen Naylor? He had that wide open touchdown.
Speedy guy too. Naylor, I barely know her.
You have to say it at least once every episode.
If every time he scores a touchdown, I'm sending it in the chat.
So who you got for your game ball there, West?
I agree with what Kyle Smith said about Sam Darnold. You have to feel good for him. I know it's only one game, but that's not even fair, I don't think, to say, oh, well, it's just the Giants. I mean, hey, here's the only time that I'm going to bring up Urban Meyer on this episode for some reason. Remember his quote when he said, hey, I'm paraphrasing, but like every game in the NFL is difficult. It's like playing, who's the team? I forget who the team that he said was. Anyway, my point is that there are no gimme games in the NFL. Like, these are all still pro players. Like, it's still the Giants. Like, you beat who you had to beat. You
right.
won the game. So I don't think we should diminish the victory at all by saying, oh, it's just the Giants.
Kyle, I piggyback on that too? You got to think too, one of the things I hate, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is a great point that you're making, and I want to echo something. They do it in the media all the time, and it gets on my everlast nerves. Quarterbacks don't fucking play each other in the games. Stop putting these graphics up that Patrick Mahomes is 1-3 versus Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow doesn't play defense. He doesn't. Don't do that. Sam Darnold played the greatest strength. Against the greatest strength yesterday, which is the Giants defense. Dexter Lawrence is an animal. He is absolutely an all-pro. Brian Burns looked good. Kayvon Thibodeau looked good. Some of their corners are pretty good. The heartbeat of that team, now that Saquon is gone, because Malik Neighbors was kind of just a guy yesterday. It's a rookie debut. I get it. But the heart and soul of the Giants is the defense. And to have that outing, he didn't play perfect. They had a couple times where he got. That's going to happen. But that's to your point, Kyle. And that's not just because I picked him for the game ball. I think it was the easy one to pick. He played against the strength of that team. And that's where whoever said between you and Adam, well, they play who they play. Like, you don't get to pick your schedule. You just have to win the games. That's why I always say that shit. Well, they had an easy schedule. They can't control that. What do you mean? Like, hey, we're not playing in Pittsburgh this year. They're going to come to us. All right, thanks.
Yeah, right. What? I'm going to go defense for my game ball, and there's honestly a lot of defensive players that you could pick from. I thought Ivan Pace Jr. had a pretty good game. I mean, we talked about the rookie. Just threw Dallas Turner getting his first sack. That's a big deal. Dallas Turner is going to be a steal of the draft. I think.
I really looked pretty good too.
Yep, he did. You know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to give it to the veteran, Harrison Smith. Dude played like 98% of the snaps on defense for the Vikings.
Shaq Griffin.
Shaq Griffin, that's another good one too. But man, Harrison Smith out there at his age playing the majority of the snaps on defense. He comes up with an interception. This is probably his last year in the NFL. I love it. I love what he brings to this team. Game ball, Harrison Smith.
See, I had my three ready to go. I had Sam Darnold, of course. Aaron Jones, we already talked about him. And Van Ginkel, we already talked about him when I did my article over on the Viking Age for the 3 winners and 2 losers. Those were my 3 winners, and one of those 3 was going to be my game ball. And since only Darnold out of those 3 got it, I will also go defense. Let's go Van Ginkel. I love that what they're doing with that at the edge rush and keeping those guys fresh, rotating them in, keeping it going.
There's so many games to go in the season, but if this is the preview of how it's going to go, I think this will be a sneaky like playoff contending team. There's a lot left.
I know.
You like that they come out of the gate, because the last thing we wanted was to see another year where the Vikings start out 0-1. They look sluggish. They have turnovers. These guys were playing with purpose yesterday. And what I love
for a bunch of weeks leading up, this game on paper might not seem important, but with all the tough games coming up, that turned this into an almost must-win game.
I also have to point out that Ivan Pace called his shot before this game, and it's the funniest shit you'll ever hear. They're like, hey, what do you think about the matchups? It's like, really, there aren't going to be any matchups. We're good. We got this. I was like, well, I didn't even know that he had said this. And then to see it later, and I'm like, oh, my God, you imagine if he got flamed? So there's a quote out there today, and I think it's on Instagram, Vikes Verified. They've been very active this season and updating like throughout the game. Pretty good content creation too, so shout out to them. But man, all the teammates are like, dude, he's a fucking psychopath. He's running around screaming, acting crazy. It's like he actually hurt Kevin O'Connell's finger celebrating yesterday. Like, I want out of my linebacker. And the fact that he's an undrafted dude is making it even better. I love him. And didn't he get the green dot this year as well? So
yeah, he did.
Second-year player. I mean, making huge strides, and his presence was felt. I heard him call his name a couple times yesterday.
So the only real concern to come out of this game is the ankle soreness for Jordan Addison, which is going to make him for week for now. So keep an eye on that going forward.
I think we can't do a unanimous donkey, but
I'll be honest.
It didn't.
I really don't have a donkey this
when
week.
Ed Ingram was 1-on-1 against Dexter Lawrence, there was no chance.
Same thing for Garrett Bradbury. We've seen him 1-on-1 with Dexter Lawrence, and it didn't go well. I don't blame them for that. Not at all.
But the easy one for me was I like Ryan Wright, but he needs to be a more consistent punter. That one punt went 28 yards?
Yeah, it got out of like
that was a
mid-30s. And Vilma said that immediately. He's like, that was not a good punt.
Yeah, he did not get that one flush off his foot. That was not good.
How about that rookie kicker doing his job yesterday, too? Wasn't a preseason fluke.
I mean, I think it was only extra points from him in this game, right?
That's fine. I just need him to not be a nightmare like all of our other kickers ever in history.
But I am definitely not going to complain with no misses.
Yeah, he was 4 for 4 on extra points, so it all counts. I mean, it's.
The thing I left for Donkey is West, and I'm interested to hear this one.
I really don't have a donkey this week. I was gonna say the punter, and now I'm pulling a Mike Zimmer because I'm not even referring to the punter by his name. That was a shitty punt. CJ Ham,
he only punted 4 times in the game.
Yeah,
I think it's
CJ Ham. I hate to pick on him too, and I'm only kind of low key doing it. I don't really mean it, but when you're
at this point.
When you're a fullback and you're not going to get very many opportunities with the ball in the first place, you can't put it on the ground. You legit can't, because we're just not going to give you opportunities with the football then.
What was the Chargers, right, that took that big defensive tackle and moved him to fullback for this season?
Yeah.
I love Jim Harbaugh so much. He's like, you know what? Well, this is how we're going to win.
I love Kevin O'Connell, and I don't want to change him being our head coach, but in an alternate universe out there where we got Jim Harbaugh, that's also insanely fun. Like what that could have been. Like that. He's insane and he's a madman as well. So yeah, I would have been okay with that universe too. But I'm really happy with Kevin O'Connell. Who brought that up here in the chat? Wes did bring up a valid point. Smith, we keep clicking on things at the same time.
Yeah, I was trying to help you out. So when you talk, I can navigate for you. So you don't bring it up there. Go ahead.
Sometimes his game management still leaves a lot to be desired. There was that situation where they let some time run off, had to call
his
a timeout.
Management was not good.
Yeah.
Well, they were taking too damn long to call the plays yesterday. I don't know if that's Darnold not being able to say them fast enough or whatever, but there was it was almost consecutive downs. You can't do 2 timeouts in a row. That's a penalty, but it's weird how they had to hit the first timeout. Okay, we were going to get a delay of game. They get through the next, 2 plays. They have to do another one. It's like, bro, there's still 5 minutes left in the quarter. What are you doing? Like, don't do that.
First game jitters. You can give them a little bit of a pass.
Yeah.
Okay. But work through it. Like this is a consistent thing. I hate the new kickoff rule, Jonathan. It hasn't done what they wanted it to do, and it's made the play look infinitely stupider.
I don't know. We had a really nice kick return touchdown in week 1, so I'm not complaining.
I think what teams are doing is they're just accepting where the ball will be, like a touchback, and they're just doing that.
Which I think we talked about that on the show, where Minnesota all preseason just booed the ball right into the end zone, and I think they're going to keep doing that all season long.
If we're going to do that anyway, can't we have a normal looking kickoff? Like, why does it got to be a dumb looking kickoff
because
to get the same result? But you're not doing anything. You're still kicking the ball out of the back of the end zone. So just have a normal play. I watch college football now, and the kickoff, I'm like, oh, this is football. This is what it's supposed to look like. You watch the NFL, and you're like, these motherfuckers are millionaires, and they're afraid to have a kickoff? This is stupid. Kick the ball. Go kick the. I'm mad at the rule.
I love that you're the angry one this week.
I don't like it.
They brought Myles Gaskin up to be the kick returner this year, and I don't know if they're going to return a single kick if they have to. Unless they have to, and it's kicked.
I don't think they're going
to. Right in that landing zone, I don't think it's going to be taken out.
I forget which game it was. I did see somebody squib it to actually give the team a chance, which I thought was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely underwhelming so far. But it's week 1 there, ironing out the kinks. I'll tell you what, after watching that Chiefs game and then the Philly game, boy, are they cracking down on that the linemen being even and nobody being too far back. Holy shit.
So I don't know if you guys read my article over on the Viking Age that came out game day morning about the referees, but I definitely warned everyone who read that there were going to be some penalties called.
Mm-hmm.
There always is. The NFL loves doing that. Here's a new rule. We're going to call it way too much. We're going to ruin the first month of the season with it.
Well, that head ref had the most penalties called last season.
I like it.
It's one of those weird things to look up and, to prepare for a game, and you're like, that doesn't sound good.
I wanted to read you guys because I am going to bathe in the fact that Daniel Jones looked like shit yesterday. 22 for 42. That's less than 50% for you guys that do math. No, it's not. It's right above 50%. Just kidding. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks, a 17.4 QBR, a 44.3 rating. Oh my God.
He is terrible. There was a play where he should have been sacked. I believe it was it Patrick Jones coming off the edge? And instead of having the ability to recognize this play is not going anywhere, I'm going to just throw the ball out and be done with it. He just holds the ball and gets sacked again. Was that Patrick Jones?
I know what play you're talking about.
You know what play I'm talking about?
Yes.
I could not believe that. I'm like, dude fucking got sacked twice on one. I've never seen that before.
But think about this. So he had 22 completions in the game. Now he threw the ball 42 times, which means the run game is not very good. Even though quietly, Devin Singletary, not a terrible player. They should have paid Saquon. But think about this. 5 sacks, and I'm looking at the Minnesota defensive stats, 12 quarterback hits. That's not including pressures that, like, I saw one play in the highlight because I watched the condensed or just the regular highlights, like a 12-minute clip today, watching it at work. And I saw one where they definitely disrupted his tracking and then making his reads where the throw was off. So you have 17 instances there where he's either getting sacked or hit. And then you got to think about the hurries or pressures that were on there. I mean, if this is how this defense is going to roll, this is going to be a long year for the people that the Vikings play. And I'm really excited because looking at it now, especially like Adam was bringing up the rotation yesterday, if you have that rotation of people, you can keep people fresh. We don't have to worry about, oh, my God, if Byron Murphy went down, what will we do at corner? Now you brought in Stephon Gilmore. Now everybody looks competent.
So I got a weird question for you guys. Are you at all concerned that Justin Jefferson only had 6 targets in this game?
Nope.
I figured for sure he would be more involved with like somewhere around 8 to 10 targets, but 6?
It's a little low on the targets. There were times he was legit like triple teamed out there in coverage. So, you want to be smart. You want to give him his opportunities. You want to get him his targets. You got to be smart with the ball.
Let's be honest, on that slant for the touchdown, Justin Jefferson was not open.
No, he was not.
But it's Justin Jefferson. You throw him the ball, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it, Adam. I think the issue yesterday is like you're seeing now. It's weird. It took like 4 years for the league to do it. He was getting triple teamed yesterday. And shout out to the Giants corners. They had a good pass breakup or two because Darnold tried to get him the ball. But I'll take him getting a touchdown and him having like a deep pass. That's another great thing about Sam Darnold yesterday. He had 2 beautiful deep balls. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's why you're drafting 3rd overall. I get it.
Yeah.
Cool. This is kind of cool.
His physical talent has always been there. He throws a beautiful pass. He throws a good deep ball. It's his decision making that has been questionable over the years. And you hope that with better coaching and being on a better team that you can help remedy and fix those mistakes. And it's got to help having a head coach in your headset who's a former NFL quarterback who appears to be very intelligent on being able to read defenses and know what a quarterback wants. So that's a really helpful for Sam Darnold to have KOC out there, reading.
You can tell Kevin O'Connell really worked with Sam Darnold on working to get the ball out quick, get him some quick reads. And that went right to the stat sheet there where you can see where the offensive line played well. They got the ball out fast. And Sam Darnold was only sacked once by a Giants team that can get after a quarterback.
I was worried sick about that. That was my only complaint yesterday when I got in to watch this game and I put it on and they're starting the game up. I'm like, please, dear God, don't let him get murdered today by this gargoyle-filled defensive line that they have. But the offensive line held their own. You know, this is one of those things too where I don't expect the line to be top 10 in anything, but if they can be middle of the road, that's enough time to give Sam Darnold a chance. And if he has a chance, to Kyle's point, I think with the coaching here and the personnel, I think he can do okay. And that's all I need, you know?
Speaking of that, Blake Brandel getting the start of left guard, I did not notice a big drop-off or lack in play, anything like that. He looked good.
Yeah, he did look good. He looked competent.
Anytime I like to kind of put a bigger guy on the inside because Ed Ingram, he might be a 300-pounder, but those defensive linemen just still pushing him around. And Garrett Bradbury is not a big guy either. So, I mean, back in the old day, those interior linemen were big hog mollies. They were like 350-pound guys.
Pat Williams. How big was Pat Williams? He was a big dude.
Yeah. That's my introduction to being a Viking fan. I was like, oh, cool. That guy rules.
I still think after this year, you're probably looking at drafting a safety, or not a safety, a corner. Drafting a corner just because you've got some veterans who are probably leaving. But I am also looking at that center position as a spot that you may want to address early with your pick, but that's here nor there right now. We've got plenty of time to, discuss that. I do think the offensive line, they've got two really good left and right. Your left and right tackle, I believe, are excellent out there. It's in between that I'm a little concerned with, but they can get by. They can get by, I think.
I still am going to sit here and defend Ed Ingram, even though I did call him one of the losers from the game this week because of how he got manhandled at times. Yeah. I still think he's slowly improving and getting better every year.
Yeah, I can see that, Adam. I would agree with that. I don't think it's time to give up on him. Certainly, you see the progress as opposed to the, getting rid of Lewis Seen, who hasn't really showed you anything over 2 seasons.
Right.
I 100% agree. You've seen progress from the WTF from the rookie year, and you're like, what?
From stepping on Kirk Cousins' foot
twice in one game.
No, boy.
Oh yeah, no, definitely making strides. I don't think it's fair to judge him on yesterday. It's like
I do fucking.
Nice. Yeah. It's hard to judge him based on that yesterday. Dexter Lawrence, man, I still have nightmares from him 2 years ago from that playoff game. Good God.
Anytime you try to block him solo, it's not going to be pretty.
No, you can't do that.
I bet Daniel Jones wakes up in the middle of the night having nightmares of Van Ginkel.
Jones took some pretty big hits in that game, too. He got knocked on his booty a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12
and
hits.
He had a rookie. Their Hunter just flew right over, and that's not the right name. Dallas Turner flew right over and landed right on top of him.
I was kind of surprised there wasn't a flag for that. He wasn't trying to injure him, but definitely it wasn't appealing. If you're an offensive guy, you're like, what the hell? I do like Dallas Turner a lot, though, and I'm happy that I invested in a jersey. Also,
the kid's showing some potential. I like it. I like seeing these young players kind of developing. I know that Kwesi there gets a lot of crap for that first draft, but I think as he's being able to get his own scouting material going and evaluate picks on his own rather than using that old material, I think he's doing a lot better job. I know next season will be a real telltale event for him because Minnesota doesn't have a ton of draft capital, so he's going to make those picks count.
Yes, Charlotte, DHgate. That's where you can get a cheap jersey. I got the throwback Dallas Turner one, which I will wear at a different point in the season on the show.
That Greg Jennings jersey you got?
Yeah, there we go. Number 50. I wanted to give you guys something to watch, too. I just popped up in my algorithm today for YouTube. If you are a J.J. McCarthy supporter, which you all should be, you have to really absorb what the kid is saying, but I am all in. I pushed all of my chips in today after listening to this kid.
I didn't catch it. What was his comments?
He's just being very vulnerable and honest. Like, it's his first interview since the surgery, and people are asking, like, so what are you doing around the building? he just gives all the praise and credit to the coaches. He gave Sam Darnold so many props. He's like, he's fucking awesome. He's been helping me since day one. He goes, really, truly, this is my time now that the pressure is off from having to perform. He's like, I'm just trying to get in good with my teammates and get to know everybody. He's like, I'm studying. He's like, whether I do virtual reps or we break down film together, what would you do on this play before it goes? He's doing all of his homework that a rookie should be doing. And there's no worry of like, well, Sam Darnold looks like shit. It's week 5. When are we going to start the rookie? Like, I always hate that, which is kind of what I assumed would happen, was Darnold would play like we've seen before. And then after the bye, it's JJ McCarthy time. Hope you figure it out, kid. Like, now there's an absolute. He's absolutely not playing this season. So cool. And then he was answering little tidbit questions. Just if you're a football nerd and you just love the team and everything they do, like, they're like, well, what's the biggest part of the rehab? He's like, for 6 weeks, you can't do anything with it. It's like, they are adamant. You have to be lazy. Don't worry about being physically strong. He's like, just do this. They were making fun of him because he has a scooter, like a knee scooter. So he bumped into Kevin O'Connell's office at some point, and he was talking about that, saying he needed a horn. Like, he was being a human in this. And I was like,
he's a really good kid.
I am all in, and good God, I hope he succeeds, because if that pedigree comes with this formula here, it's kind of like that puzzle piece that just fits. Him and Kevin O'Connell are just going to fit. God, I could see some good years ahead.
We don't know what kind of player he's going to be determined on that aspect of it. But he reminds me a lot of Teddy Bridgewater, and know how Teddy was just an excellent person, and we all loved Teddy Bridgewater off the field, and Vikings fans, for the most part, just gravitated towards him. JJ McCarthy gives me that same kind of, he's just a good kid, and you like him as a person, and you want to root for him, and that means a lot, I think.
So the Vikings go and they beat the Giants, and what the Giants do? They go right out and they sign a former Viking right after the game.
Oh, who's that?
Amir Smith-Marset.
That's funny.
Amir Smith-Marset. I did not know that.
Yeah, Kine, you said earlier today too in the chat, Adam, Kine signed with the Jets.
Well, he's expected to sign with the Jets. We'll see about actually signing.
Well, hold on. We got to hold off until that's official.
I hope. Oh, man. If I had a magic lamp with 3 wishes, one of them would be for him to be like, nah, you know what? I'm going to go with the Bills.
Just troll the Jets until the end of time. Oh, my God.
Poor Jets.
Yeah, Justin says TJ Hawkinson is going to be at Pancheros tomorrow in Maple Grove. For any of you guys that are in the Minnesota area,
I used to love those local player signings and meet and greets. I tried to go to as many of those when I was living in that area as I could. Also, TJ Hawkinson is only on the PUP list, so he is currently out for 4 weeks, and he's going to use that time to get healthy, and then he will be eligible to come back, which will be fun.
I think he'll come back after the bye. You got 5 weeks of football, and then in the 6-week bye, I don't think there's any need to rush him back.
And he's going to be such an awesome security blanket for Sam Darnold to have. Like that. That's going to be a big.
Speaking of, we haven't talked about them at all today. How about the tight ends yesterday?
Tight ends are
fine.
Legit.
They were fine.
They have a lot of excellent tight ends on this
I told
team.
you Oliver's got those sneaky hands. He can catch passes.
What a beautiful over-the-middle pass from Darnold early in the game.
I mean, none of them are Isaiah likely, but what can you do?
Shit.
What do you do with that position group when Hawkinson comes back? Like, who are you cutting to make room for?
You got to cut Harrison Smith, man. He's old and washed. He's the oldest guy on the team. Make room, you know?
Stephon Gilmore, thank you, but you're old. Get on it.
We're kind of just moseying through the game now, but I wanted to bring this up because this is pretty crazy. Wes put it up earlier. Not Vikings related, but an acting legend was lost this morning. James Earl Jones. Rest in peace to his family.
Oh, absolutely.
He is gone. That. Yeah, this morning he passed away. I saw it right before I logged on Facebook. That is crazy. He is in so many good films, and kind of that, like with Morgan Freeman, kind of that voice when you hear it, you just know who he is.
I mean,
I love Coming to America.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. I mean, Star Wars, obviously Darth Vader, but Lion King, come on, if you're our age, Smith, like,
yeah,
he's in Lion King. Like Adam said, Coming to America. Man, I didn't know that. That's a bummer.
You guys don't like my Harrison Smith cut? Come on, man. What happened there? He's old. What do you mean? I hear Lewis Seam's looking for a job. We'll just get him back from the practice squad.
Like in Deadpool, you're just gonna go up to Harrison Smith. You're gonna do this until you're 90.
Holy shit! What a great reference. That might be the funniest line of the movie too. Holy shit! I did like the other version of it. Was a Canadian him with the long hair.
Nice fool.
Oh my! He had the most punchable fucking face, and it's like, what's about? He said, "I can do it too." The Green Lantern. What a role specifically made for a person. Like,
let's just end the show by quoting Deadpool.
Oh my God.
The next 10 minutes, all Deadpool quotes.
I'll do you one better too. We could do your favorite Deadpool quote, but think about roles that were tailor-made to actors. Like for me, when I actually saw a film and I was like, I don't give a shit who is here after this person, it will never be the same. Heath Ledger played the Joker phenomenally for me. I loved every second of it. I'm doing Donald Trump hands. It's so good right now. Just cool. What is this?
Have you guys seen Ricky Stenicki? Just don't do those hands.
Uh-oh. No, I did see it on, was it on Prime?
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, I
Smith,
did see the ad for it.
Before we wrap it up and we still got people in here, you gotta show off the Vikings tattoo that you just got.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you do it.
Okay, so I have to make a joke about this because I have to be stupid about everything. Couldn't do it after the miracle. Couldn't do it after a walk-off touchdown with Kyle Rudolph. I got a Vikings tattoo the day after Sam Darnold comes in and he's, what is it, from Dumb and Dumber? Totally redeem yourself. Like,
that's how you know you're a true Vikings fan, because it wasn't in a super emotional decision. It wasn't after the miracle play. It wasn't after whatever. It's just like you need one right now, and so you got it.
I don't know. I still think that upside down hatch is one of the most unique things I've ever seen.
They targeted me, dude. I got it on Instagram. It was from New Era, I believe, or 47. One of those two. I think it's a New Era because it's fitted. And I was like, this is weird. I like it. And it's got the bandana kind of thing.
I love it. Yeah. It's the best hat ever.
So I'll give you the story real quick. I want the Vikings logo forever. I have a little space right here. And I was like, man, maybe I could just slide it in there. The crease, as Kyle West will tell you, sucks.
Oh,
dudes. So
the spot is terrible.
Yeah, no, I thought the elbow was bad. Like I have part of my elbows done, but I was like, where can I put it? And then I thought more.
Ooh,
I said,
buddy,
I don't want to get just the regular Vikings logo. Like I'm a NASCAR driver and I'm just putting patches on my uniform. Like I thought that would look a little ticky-tacky for me. If somebody has that, great. Like support the team. I've got a ton of skulls on my arm. I have a skull playing guitar. I've got skulls around right here on my wrist. I've got skulls up here, if you can see them. Like this was my 18-year-old, 19-year-old, everything skull. I wanted to look like a rock and roller, you know?
No tribal bands?
I do have tribal somewhere. I'm not going to talk about it. So I had a bird here on my hand to kind of match like the opposite. This is for my mother, but I kind of just got a piece on the other side of this hand, so they would be like kind of identical. And then I realized I really like the real estate of a hand tattoo. I want to cover the whole thing. So I got a Viking skull, and I got it with purple on the helmet and yellow for the leather that would be holding the stones together. So he said, I asked him today when we were like 10 minutes in, I said, hey, dumb question I should have asked you before. We're doing color, right? He goes, oh, absolutely. What do you want? I said, well, it's for my football team. I need purple and yellow to be the dominant ones. Whatever you want to do, the skull is a green, gray. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that, man.
Ooh, baby, that baby's bleeding out a little bit on there for you.
It's spicy. It hurts.
Was that a spicy spot on the top?
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I use lidocaine and skin numbing cream. You can get some off eBay. The older I get, the more this shit sucks. It wasn't really bad until about an hour and a half in. This was about 2.5 hours. But he plowed through it. Yeah. Once your adrenaline wears off, it sucks. But
and when the area's been worked over, when it's a small spot, when it's been worked over for an hour or so, yeah, it gets raw.
You know, all my friends, I put it on Instagram. I haven't showed everybody the final product. I just showed the stencil. And I said, I'm getting my Vikings tattoo finally. And everyone said, are you getting it on your ass? And I replied to a couple of them. I was like, yeah, for how many times this team has boned me, that's the appropriate place. You know what I mean?
Are you going to get HA on one cheek and PPY on the other?
There you go. And then when you
love Happy Gilmore. Such a good movie.
Oh man, I can't believe they're making a second one. I'm gonna watch it and be very sad because it's probably gonna disappoint me. But
no, I do have to ask you guys: have either of you seen the new Beetlejuice yet? I want to see it.
No, I have my son this weekend, but I do plan on it. Oddly enough, I don't know what parts of the country have it outside of Texas. They're scattered around the South, for sure. But I always loved the Alamo Draft House. When I was stationed in El Paso, I would pay that place's light bill. Like I would go there every week. I went there 4 years ago when I was back in San Antonio, and it was awesome, man. They had I went during for my job now. I went during the fall, so during Halloween they always do scary movies all through the month of Halloween, like the original Halloween, Scream, Friday the 13th, all that, and they did Beetlejuice. So I actually have a glass in here, which I'm not even like a Beetlejuice nerd. I just have it.
That's twice. Be careful.
Yeah, I'm not even that big of a fan, but I do have a glass from that night. I'm watching it now.
CMC is out tonight. Whoa.
Oh, shit. Well, that means he'll probably play next week. I don't like that.
What's the Vikings equivalent of saying Beetlejuice 3 times and like he shows up?
You say Donovan McNabb 3 times?
I think the jinx for something bad to happen is when you start actually believing them and say, "Oh, we're not going to lose that game," or "It's fine, he'll be protected," and then boom, there's the injury you didn't want to happen. I think that's the equivalent for this team. Wow.
But that was a fun game to watch. It was not a nail biter by any means here. Blood pressure probably wasn't racing. Which makes
I enjoyed that. Adam,
very different from other games.
That's a positive. I enjoyed that. It was really nice to be like, hey, the Vikings are winning. I don't have to stress out in the fourth quarter.
I didn't have to pop extra blood pressure medication.
There you go.
Like, oh, we're winning a game that we should win. Where has this been?
You just say Troy Williamson 3 times, or you say Herschel Walker in the mirror.
But expectations are so low for this team. I mean, will this start getting people to believe a little bit, or are they just going to see this as, okay, Sam Darnold had a good game?
It certainly has Vikings fans drinking the Kool-Aid, and I love it because we should be positive about our team a little more often. That's my big takeaway for this, for everyone still listening, is that you don't have to diminish the game by saying it was just the Giants suck. It's okay to be the Vikings won. I love it. I'm excited.
And it was a very convincing win. It wasn't just like, okay, they kind of won that game. No, Minnesota won that game.
We won the game. I'm excited.
Now here's an interesting perspective to think about, because I'm putting it together while you guys are talking. So the next 4 games are going to be very tough opponents. They're at home for, I believe, the 49ers and the Texans.
Yep.
And then they're at Green Bay, and then they're in London for the Jets. Those are all good teams. The next 3 teams they face.
We don't know about the Jets. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we'll see tonight if something wild happens. But on paper, they should be ready to go. And they were ready to go last year. They only got better on paper. They beefed up the line. Like,
I know.
I'm willing to see that. But
on paper, the Falcons should be real good too.
Yeah,
here's my thing, though.
Hold on, wait. Think about this.
Sorry.
Think about this. The next 3 teams that the Vikings face all won playoff games last year. So this is going to be your test. To your point, Kyle, don't diminish the win because this was a convincing win. If they played sloppy and they won at the end of the game.
Jets won a playoff game?
No. I said the next 3 teams.
Okay, so 49ers, Packers, and Texans. Okay.
Yeah. So they all won playoff games. This will be a real test for the Vikings. And don't diminish, like Kyle said, I wanted to echo that point. Don't diminish this win. It's not like they won on a field goal and they played like shit the whole game and they somehow squeaked one out.
Right.
We've echoed this 7 times.
It wasn't a Kirk Cousins win.
I can't blame Kirk, but it's funny because it works,
Fuck Kirk.
But they definitely were the better team. And I think if you look at the little pie chart that they always have as the game progresses, the Giants only had one part of the game, and that was early on when they kicked the field goal, that they were at the percentage to win, and the rest, it just went up like you hit the stock market, and it just stayed there the rest of the game. You never see that with this team. So who knows? They did it last year. They beat the San Francisco 49ers in Minnesota. Like, I don't know. They can do it again.
This is a top 10 defense. Brian Flores is insane. This defense is going to be really good this year. I feel like that's not even a bold statement.
And Darnold's familiarity with that 49ers defense is going to help.
So I know these are tough opponents coming up, but What can he do to throw these younger quarterbacks? CJ Stroud, what can you do to throw him off his game? We know he's good. Can you outcoach the other team being good? I kind of believe in Brian Flores, and I kind of believe a lot in this defense.
I also, just to throw this out there, just because we're doing like round table ESPN style stuff, at some point the 49ers have to fall off. I just don't believe you're going to keep doing that and keep losing in the Super Bowl and doing that. At some point, they're going to have themselves a 10-7 year. Is that this year? I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers, I mean, we'll see tonight when we watch the game in a little bit. Hall of Fame quarterback. If he's not very mobile, like we know he's got the intelligence and probably still the arm strength to pick apart a defense. But if you can get after him, apply pressure, get after him, he's not running anywhere for shit.
Like, we all remember what like Peyton Manning even looked like towards the end of his career. He didn't look like Peyton Manning anymore.
Yeah.
The corpse of Peyton Manning winning a Super Bowl is something that needs to be studied. Brock Osweiler has to get more credit, man. Every time we talk about that season. Oh, what a weird season that was. Oh my God.
And this season is faring up to be kind of odd too, but I'm interested to watch it. Let's do it.
Oh, I love it.
I'm here for it. And the only thing I care about this season, I don't think the Vikings are winning the Super Bowl. As long as the Chiefs don't three-peat, I could give a shit what happens. I don't want that to happen. I want that to stay. I want the allure of, oh man, they were so close. I do not want.
Okay, I do have to mention this before we go because I know you guys will both sigh, but I thought it was absolutely adorable seeing Taylor Swift singing "The Darkness I Believe in" thing called "Love."
I didn't see this
when she was in the stands. Nope. I thought that was so cool.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that part.
I love The Darkness. I do. That band is great. Not a fan of The Darkness, huh?
I think he's talking about Taylor Swift. I love The Darkness too, Adam. There's a fun thing.
You do?
This is a random.
What's wrong with both of you?
No, dude, they're great musicians, and I love the talent that the singer has.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really? They're a one-note gimmick band. What the fuck?
Why? How much have you heard of their work?
Yeah, you gotta do a deep dive, man. It's a lot of fun.
You couldn't pay me to do that deep dive.
I'll send you a clip of one of the cooler ones. Dave Grohl is on bass. I forget who was playing drums, but it's Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, playing guitar, and then I think they're doing a Queen cover. But it's just a lot of fun. And I was like, where is this? Oh, they were playing a gig together. Okay, I can get behind that. That was pretty cool. I watched that recently, and it was pretty fun and stood out to me. Don't you Swifty on me.
Well, a lot of people were complaining when that NFL promo got released and it showed Taylor Swift a couple times. It's like, an NFL promo, you aren't going to draw in hardcore NFL fans with an NFL promo. They're going to watch anyway. You're doing that to draw in the casuals, and guess what the casuals are going to do? They're going to tune in if Taylor Swift's going to be on their TV.
Yeah, you're actually right, Adam. It's like, I don't need a reminder of when the NFL season starts. I also don't really need a hype package. Like, I'm already here.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, but that's all I have for this week. Do you guys got anything else you want to talk about?
That's it. What a win.
There were no real surprises like inactives or anything like that. No major injuries from the game, which was great.
What's our prediction for next week? Real quick before we sign off.
Oh, boy.
At home, 49ers.
I don't want to ride the high. I'm always going to pull back before I go forward on the team. I'll say they'll be competitive, but they'll probably lose because the Niners are slightly better. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Something crazy could happen tonight that could totally affect next week. So as of right now, I'm going to say.
I guess Minnesota comes up a little short.
Pump the brakes on the Sam Darnold is the greatest of all time stuff. I'm not saying that I want him to play bad. I'm just saying, hey, let's see about a little sustained success. But this is the first test of many, so we'll see how they do. I like that it's at home. That crowd after
Justin
this
and Pat here wanted to talk about Tyreek Hill, but I don't have a lot to say.
No, yeah, I'm not going to touch that. I don't have.
I did see that there were Miami Dolphins fans calling up the jail, trying to pay his fine or fee to get released before the game. I didn't see that was happening, which was kind of funny.
I can't give an opinion on it yet because I don't know what happened until they have like body cam footage or something there. But even then, like it's either cops are assholes and they shouldn't reach, or don't be an idiot and don't drive shitty or whatever. Like, I'm not going to go crazy on it because all that stuff gets misconstrued in weird ways and like, whatever. I don't want to talk about Tyreek Hill. Fuck him.
Yeah, no comment.
I mean, he's got a lot of kids. Hope they're happy. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But you can check out my work over on the Viking Age. I've been putting out a few articles over there. My 3 winners and 2 losers, which I already gave all those away. So if you are listening, you know what they are. But I've also got other things over there that you can check out or click on if you wanted. I'd appreciate it if you would. Otherwise, you can check me out on social media at MNVikingZombie, wherever social media is. I've been doing way too many TikTok videos of weird little puzzle games. So if you like those, I do them.
Nice. Kyle West will plug his stuff now.
Check me out at Vaguely Square over on Blue Sky. I did some location scouting today for some photography work that I will be going back in a couple weeks when we get actual fall weather. I found the brick building, Smith.
Oh, perfect.
From 1936. It's the entrance to a tunnel. There was a hole in the side of it, and my friend that I was with goes, "This is 100% like a horror movie."
Oh, yeah.
And we stuck our head in, and we're like, holy shit.
This would be a great place to have sex, you said.
Yes. No, we were both immediately like, this, every horror movie I've ever seen says do not go in the building.
Yeah.
But I saw some of those preliminary shots, and the locations look really interesting. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for like to turn the colors of the leaves and stuff like that?
That and obviously go back when it's a little,
because that would really add to like the fall feel to that, the Halloweenish kind of tone, which would be great.
And I'm gonna do something.
The Caucasian urge to enter a place you might get murdered in every horror movie.
You don't want to go in
spice latte, and I'll head in.
You don't want to go in the abandoned tunnel from 1936?
That's right. I spent this show talking about Taylor Swift and pumpkin spice latte. That's what I did.
Nice, dude. I mean, if we go, I can bring my Glock. I'll feel much better than that.
You're invited. Now you're invited now. That'd be about the only way I'd go in that thing.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to you guys. I know you guys are logging off. I always plug this for Kyle. Check out his photography work. Yeah. KyleWest84.picfair.com. Great shots like we were just talking about. There is a Redbubble page, too, that you have where you can get Purple People Pod merch or your prints.
Justin's got the Uggs. We're all set.
The Ugg boots.
Are those the furry
That's
boots?
Amazing. Those are the chick boots that everybody loves. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can check me out on social media at NCDogDude. Twitter, Instagram are mainly where I'm at.
What's a Twitter?
The artist formerly known as Twitter.
I like the way if you go to look X up on like whatever your store is on your phone, it will say X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. So one last thing. No words. Just thumbs up or thumbs down. Give me the symbol, guys. Linkin Park's new singer. We got Down and Down. All right.
No hesitation on that. No hesitation on that down.
On this note, I do want to thank everyone who joined us in chat. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about that game against the 49ers and give away our game balls, donkeys, and much, much more. So come on back next week. In the meantime, check us out over for the full catalog of videos on YouTube, or we will be wherever you find podcasts. We're usually there. We were number 2 on Podomatic this week, which ain't bad, but boy, it'd be nice to get back in that number 1 spot.
You just have to hit the like button. You just have to hit the like button on everything you have, and that'll get us there.
And if you have the opportunity, leave a review, like, share, whatever you can do. It helps us out a lot. I would love to get more people in here talking to us because this is a lot of fun. This live format, I absolutely love doing this every week, and I look forward to it, especially with these great guys here. But we will see you next week. In the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.